Hi, it's John, and welcome to another edition of Statistics Tell a Story. This is week 12 of the NFL. I did have a Thursday night winner with the Browns. I'm going to have to, at some point, get my record together. I think if memory serves me, I'm 6 games over 500. But some of those might have been, I think, were with juice of minus 115 or minus 120. Um, but anyway, so I have 3 games for the Sunday, Monday slate. The third pick would be the Ravens. Currently, it's -2.5, minus 115. This is tomorrow night against the Chargers in LA. The LA Chargers do not have a really big home field advantage. If you look at it, my model says five. And sometimes the eye test can be revealing. You look at the Chargers schedule. Let's see, I have a list of who they've beaten. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Saints. They beat the Browns. They beat the Titans. They beat the Bengals. All below 500, several of them among the very worst teams in football. The only team they beat above 500 were the Broncos, and that was the fifth game of the season where Bo Nix, rookie, is still kind of coming into his own, still probably at that point, you might say one of the worst starting quarterbacks in football. Although they did kind of dominate them, but they really haven't been impressive. So you look at these two teams, the Chargers have 3 losses, the Ravens have 4 losses. The Ravens have just been much more impressive, much tougher schedule, and I look for them to bounce back. Laying 2.5, it's three somewhere. I would make a point to lay 2.5. The Chargers do play a lot of close games. Wouldn't surprise me. If I would say there's probably a good 15% chance it lands on three. So try to find 2.5, lay 115, maybe up to 118 possibly with the Ravens. Second pick are the New England Patriots. They are playing the Dolphins. They are getting 7.5 at minus 115. Uh, Surprisingly, you look at Pro Football Focus quarterback ratings. Drake May is one notch above, or actually, he's a couple notches above Tua, a quarterback for the Dolphins. He's also above Bo Nix for what it's worth, and they're talking about Bo Nix being the rookie of the year. But anyway, so Drake May he's become a decent quarterback. The Patriots are still playing hard. The Dolphins, on the other hand, when Tua was out, it looked like if ever there was a team that really needed a quarterback, it was the Dolphins. But he's come back. They've been better. They, but the Dolphins are still missing something on offense. I don't know, timing or something. But 7.5 points is a lot of points here. I think New England keeps it close. My model has it at 4.5. So again, there's some value there. I like New England as the second pick. First pick, another 7.5 point spot are the Colts getting 7.5 against the Lions. This is at minus 110. There's a truism that no team is ever as good as it looks, no team is ever as bad as it looks. The Lions look like world beaters. But if you peel back the onion a little bit, let's see, they've blown out 3 teams. They've blown out the Cowboys, they've blown out the Titans, and they've blown out the Jaguars, 3 of the worst teams in football. So yeah, they're real good at running up big scores. Don't get me wrong, they're a very good team. I have a couple models, and the Lions and Ravens it's very close between them being the top teams in football. I have the Bills third and the Chiefs fourth. So the Lions are extremely good. They have also played 3 games where the 3 good teams they played. They beat the Vikings by 2. They beat the Texans by 3. They beat the Packers by 10. And even with the Packers, Jordan Love, his throwing hands, excuse me, his thumb seemed to be bothering a little bit. Excuse me. And on a yards per play basis, it was actually pretty close. So Lions, very good team. I think this is a letdown spot here. The Colts have been competitive every game. They have a little bit of a well, they have a question mark at quarterback with Anthony Richardson, who possibly turned the corner last week. This is just an anecdote, but he basically had a quote where he said he's taken some pressure off of himself. He's trying to have fun after he took himself out of the game about a month or 5 weeks ago, which I thought he was kind of crucified a little bit more than he should have. You have running backs take themselves out of the game. He was just being honest. To me, he was just trying to do what was good for the team. But he a ton of talent. But anyway, the Colts they've played a decent schedule and they've played some tough teams fairly close. They lost to the Bills recently, 30-20. The yards per play in that game was 5.9 to 5.9. So again, my model has it at 4.5. So all three games I have in the ballpark of a 3 to 3.5 point model advantage. Getting 7.5, that's beyond the 7. I'll take that every time. So anyway, the Colts are my number one pick. So again, to rehash, in case I misstated anything earlier, sometimes I look back at my videos. Oh, you know what? I didn't mean to say that. So the Ravens are the third pick, laying 2.5. The Titans are the second pick, getting 7.5. The Colts are the first pick, getting 7.5. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not hit like or subscribe, it would be much appreciated. Tell your friends. Again, hopefully, I will be more consistent in making videos, and we'll see you next time on Statistics Tell a Story. Thank you. Let's see, where is end recording?